You see, if you grew up in a family where you were told all the time that it's all your fault, then you're going to go around feeling guilty most of your life and probably saying, "I'm sorry," all the time, or you will manipulate others through guilt. If you have a belief that nobody loved you, then you're either going to have no romances or you'll probably have very short romances. If we go around saying, "Well, that's the way I am," or "that's the way life is," that's expressing a belief, and perhaps it came from other people's opinions. It's not true for us, or it is true for us, depending on how we accept it. Stop accepting their limitations. We always have another way of looking at life. You know, many people get up in the morning, and if it's raining, they look out the window and say, "Oh, what a lousy day." Well, it isn't a lousy day, it's a wet day. But if we choose to believe it's a lousy day, then that's what we'll have, because we will create it. If we choose to believe it's a wet day, then we'll put on the appropriate clothing and do what we do on rainy days. There is no good or bad, there is no right or wrong, except that we make it so. And you know, every culture on this planet has different rules about those things. It's what we believe that makes things right or wrong or good or bad. And again, it's the old thing, what we give out, we get back, and usually in double. We want to begin to shift our beliefs today, to be willing to allow the changes to happen. The point of power is always in the present moment. And all these old things, these lacks, these limitations, these beliefs, can return to the nothingness from whence they came. They came out of nothing, and they can go back to it. You are the power. No person, no place, no thing has any power over you. I can give you lots of good advice and lots of wonderful new ideas, but if you choose not to accept them, then you're in control, for you have the power. You are the only person that thinks in your mind, and you create your experiences. And just for this moment, I want you to catch the thought you're thinking right now and ask yourself, is it negative, or is it positive, or is it neutral? Do you want this thought to create your future? Now, because we think so quickly, and the thoughts just go whizzing through our minds, it's not always so easy to begin changing our thoughts. You can start by editing your speech. Begin to listen to what you say, and don't say anything that you don't want to become true for you. There are literally billions of thoughts that you can think, and infinite numbers of things that you can say. Make these be nourishing thoughts. Pick thoughts that create nourishing experiences for you. Don't waste time thinking thoughts that create problems for you and then try to fix the problem. That to me is foolish and a waste of time. One of my very early teachers used to say often, "There is not something to do, there is something to know." Because truly, when we change our thinking, we change our experiences. All right, so what do we do now? Well, I think we can decide to change. That, to me, is the most important thing now. Or we can throw up our hands in horror and give up, or get angry, or feel that it's all helpless and hopeless. But these are old and useless ways of handling things. If we think, "Oh, it's hopeless, so why try, because at least I can handle the pain, and I know what that is," well, that's just getting stuck and staying in the same old place. And you certainly have the choice of doing that, but you don't have to. And getting angry about circumstances, well, to me, that's like sitting in a corner with a dunce hat on. You know, something happens and we get angry, and something else happens and we get angry, and we don't do anything about it. Do you know that people who commit suicide do so because they won't change their minds? They believe that life is only one way, and they don't want to look in another way or see another viewpoint. They refuse to believe there are other possibilities. and so they leave the planet instead. Getting angry or upset continuously because things aren't working, again, is sort of foolish and a wasted energy. What is really better is for you to ask yourself, how am I creating so many situations to be angry or upset at? And then sit down and really give yourself a chance to think about that. What could I be doing or believing that is creating this? And again, this is not to make you wrong, but just to let you look at what could be happening. When we start this work, I like to think of it very much like the end of a Thanksgiving dinner. You know, you've had all this wonderful Thanksgiving dinner and everybody's eaten much too much. And then it's time to go into the kitchen and clean up the turkey pan. And there it sits, all crusty and burnt, and it looks a mess. So the first thing you do is to put in some hot water and soap, and you let it soak. And then after it's soaked for a while, you start to scrape it, and all these bits come up. And then it really looks a mess. And if you didn't know better, you'd think that the pan would always be disgusting. However, if you keep going, after a little while, you're going to have a nice, clean turkey pan. Our consciousness is very much like that. When we begin to do this work, we go in and we start to clean our mental turkey pan. And sometimes things get worse before they get better. We want to know that it's okay if that happens and to just flow with it. I think mirror work is very important, and the more we can do it, the more we can reflect to ourselves where we are and what we need to do. So keep looking in the mirror and saying to yourself, I am willing to change, and I am willing to release the resistance. I am willing to change, and I am willing to release the resistance. Now all of us have to deal with what I call resistance to change. And we all have resistance, because on some level we want everything and everyone out there to change, but we don't want to have to change ourselves. And yet, changing ourselves is the very thing we must do in order to change our lives. So awareness is our next step. We must become aware of what it is that we believe. Otherwise, we don't know what to change. Our first reaction to a new awareness about ourselves is often resistance. And that's all right, because any reaction is good. It means the change is already in process. Let yourself notice how you react so that you are aware of what's going on. Our lessons are not necessarily easy. If they were easy, they wouldn't be lessons. It takes time and effort to learn what we need to learn. So don't demand instant change. Let yourself do it step by step. It will get easier as you go along. Too often we get impatient and we want to do things right now. Impatience is only resistance to learning. It means you want the goal without going through the process. You know, we can sit here and say, I want to be in the other room. And we can even demand and insist that we are in the other room right now. But we don't want to make the effort of getting up and going one step at a time in order to get to the other room. And we can sit here for days and keep yelling and insisting we want to be in the next room. And nothing will happen except that we get frustrated. However, if we make the effort and take the steps, no matter how small, one by one, before you know it, we will be there. Keep noticing what is going on in your body and what form your resistance may be taking. It's fascinating to watch how the mind works and learns. And the thing we resist the most is often that which we most need to learn. If you keep saying, I can't or I won't, you're probably referring to a lesson that is important to you. Think for a moment. What do you think you came to this planet for? What is your lesson? What did you come to learn? And what did you come to teach? I do not believe you came here to be miserable or to be unfulfilled. I believe you came here to be fulfilled and to give of yourself to others. We are all teachers and students. We are learning and we are teaching. You could ask yourself that question before you go to sleep tonight. What did I come here to learn, and what did I come here to teach?